Hey guys, it's Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today we played Coffee and a Mystery, not a card, and this was the fun treat box that I led through. Well, not exactly this one. I usually do a decoy. Look out for that one on the blog later. But this is our project for today. It's a match box style Dove treat holder. It holds 5 pieces of these Dove Promises. I happen to have the dark chocolate mint swirl here. 1, because it's delicious. 2, because I love these foil wrappers. So let's get started with the box that holds 5 of these pieces. I'm going to use shaded spruce cardstock for my box today. And you need 2 pieces. It's a 2-piece box. I've got the tray that's going to hold the candy. This is 3 5/8 by 8 1/4. And then we've got the wrapper. And the wrapper is 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. Don't scramble to write it down. It'll be on the project sheet. There will also be a printable project sheet with measurements and the template photos. So you'll know how to score, what size to start with, how to score, and how to trim your box. We're going to start with our 3 5/8 by 8 1/4 inch piece. We're going to score according to the template and then trim. We're going to do on the 3 5/8 inch side at 5/8, 1 1/4, 2 3/8, 3 inches. Rotate 1 time to the right. Now you're on the 8 1/4 inch side. You're going to score at 5/8, 1 1/4, 7, and 7 5/8. For our wrapper, we've got to use the paper trimmer. We need some 1/16 of an inch so that our tray will slide in the wrapper nice and smooth. So we'll start with that 4 1/8 by 5 3/4 inch piece. And we're going to bring this cutting blade down to the bottom. No sense in getting halfway through your scoring and then accidentally cut your project. We're on the 4 1/8 inch side, and we're going to cut, and we're going to score at 3/8, 1 1/16, so 1 and then 1 line past, 2 1/4, and 2 5/16. So go to 3 and then back off 1 line from the 3. And that's our last score. Now let's work these score lines for both pieces with the bone folder, and then we'll trim. Okay, so we've worked the score lines, and now we're going to trim according to the template. So we're going to start in this left corner here, and we've got 4 squares and then 2 long rectangles. We're going to cut straight up along the 2 rectangles. Then we're going to do an angle cut and cut out a little piece. Rotate to the end, cut an angle, and rotate back, another angle, and then trim off the trapezoid. Same thing on the other side. Rotate. We're going to cut straight. There's 4 squares, 2 long rectangles. Cut an angle, rotate, angle to the first score line, rotate back, angle to the second score line, cut out that corner, and then the tab. And this is what you're looking for. Let's do the same thing on the other end. Then when you cut these angles, what you're doing is you're narrowing the glue tab. When you narrow the glue tab and we fold up this box, because the sides are going to fold in over themselves, you've narrowed this down and taken out a lot of the bulk, so you won't have bulk in the corners, and this will roll up really nicely. All right, let's go ahead and get tear and tape adhesive on our box. Got our wrapper. Also work the score lines with your bone folder. Tear and tape adhesive is going to go on the outside of the tray on the 4 little tabs, and it'll go on the inside of the tray on the long sides and the end tabs. So that extra 1/16 of an inch that we had in the wrapper when we're scoring on 16ths plus the double walls on the tray are going to make this box slide like a dream. It really is a fantastic design. My friend and team member downline, Riehara, designed this box for us. I love it. All right, so we're going to come in on the second score line from this side with the adhesive. From the first score line on the other side, we're going to line up the cut edge along the fold, get it nice and straight. And then once you've got the adhesive to grab, then go ahead and burnish. Pop that open. Now this is the bottom of your box. This is the back side. So let's turn that over. For the tray, we'll start with the little tabs, remove all the adhesive. Just from these little tabs, and fold up the corners. So we're going to fold up all 4. You'll see we've got all this excess cardstock here on each side. So we're going to start from the inside with the long tabs, because then we're going to sandwich in these little glue tabs on the inside, which gives us a reinforced wall and a beautiful finish inside and out. Adhere that down, sandwiching those little tabs in. And because of those angles that we cut as we were going, you can remove the adhesive on the short ends, and it's going to tuck in beautifully. No bunching in the corners. It's just a gorgeous tray. Let's put our candies in. Now the candies are going to go with the flat side together on the ends. See here? There's a rounded side, not rounded, rotate to the flat side. Not rounded, rotate to the flat side, and 5 will fit in this little tray. Slide that in to the little wrapper. Let's get some Designer Series paper on top. Our Designer Series paper is from the new Santa Express Designer Series paper from the holiday catalog. And we already did one with the presents. That's the opposite side. We did one with some shaded spruce, diagonal stripes. This time we're going to do the multicolored dots. I'm just going to glue that to the top of the box with liquid glue. We'll put aside the box and do a little stamping here. Paper, just center it. There's a little bit of shaded spruce border all the way around. 1 inch by 5 5/8. Measurements are on the project sheet, the printable project sheet. The details are below. You click to the blog and then look for the link embedded below the video. All right, I've got a scrap of basic white. I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat. Ink pads are Shaded Spruce and Poppy Parade. Ringed with Nature is a photopolymer stamp set, so we're going to use the Stampin' Pierce mat. This poinsettia is from that stamp set. We'll stamp with Poppy Parade. I love this. Get a little bit of everything. House and mushrooms, acorns. We're going to use this 2-piece sprig in just a minute. This is the Ringed with Nature stamp set. It's a really versatile set for fall, for Christmas, for the sentiments are Merry Christmas, love and warmth, happy anniversary, just for you, get well, I'm thinking of you. So lots of great sentiments there. We'll do the leaves of Shaded Spruce, do the berries with Poppy Parade, and you'll see that it lines right up. There's a little angle on the berries that'll line right up the stem. And then what I did was took my black Stampin' Up marker, and just for a little bit more drama, do you see the stems on the berries? I'm going to go over the Poppy Parade with my black Stampin' Up marker, and it gives a real good drama. We've got black stems, green leaves, red berries, and it was a 2-step stamp with a little bit of coloring detail here. We get a really nice tricolor image. I'm doing the ends of the berries too with the black marker. And just such a nice little detail, and it doesn't take much extra effort. I cut a banner using the Stylish Shapes dies. This is the larger of the wide banners. There's 2 little narrow guys, 2 wide guys. We're using this long one. This is the Stylish Shapes dies. It's new in the annual catalog and been one of my favorites, especially for this little banner shape. It's a great way to add sentiments to your projects. We're going to do Just For You in Shaded Spruce over to the right. Leave plenty of room for the poinsettia. Now we're going to cut our poinsettia and berry sprigs out. Got my paper snips. I'm just going to give them a quick trim. I'll cut them out with a tiny little white border. I do love this Poppy Parade poinsettia. Boy, it's zingy. What a great color, huh? We're going to set aside our sprig and our poinsettia, and we're going to work on this fun little detail here. So look behind our poinsettia. We've got one of these little wooden slices, like the tree rings. The Ringed with Nature stamp set can be bundled up with the tree rings dies and the hybrid embossing folder. What we're going to do is we're going to make one of those awesome dimensional multicolor rings. We need the die that works with the folder, and then we need the detail die that works with the folder. All right, we're going to use a little bit of soft suede for the bark and then crumb cake for the tree ring. We're going to use the embossing folder and the dies together to both emboss and cut this gorgeous tree slice. Let me show you how. I'm going to start by opening up my folder, and I got the Stampin' Up side up. And you can see I've used it several times. The Stampin' Up side gets cut into. The die will only fit in one way, and it's like this. It fits into the top of the folder. You see? When you put the paper in and close, run it through the machine, it'll emboss and cut all at the same time. And that's what we're going to do for the first layer of our treat. For the second layer of our treat, we'll add in a second ring, this little guy right here, and then we'll cut again, and that will cut the bark portion, emboss and cut the bark portion of our tree slice. Ready? Let's do it. For this kind of cutting, we need to set up our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine as if we were going to emboss with a 3D folder. So we've got number 1, and we have our folder. We have the ring that we're going to cut. We're going to cover that with our scrap. You can close this up. Now, for the longest wear on your folder, put the seam or the fold in first. To both cut and emboss at the same time, you'll add the number 4 plate and give a crank. Now we're going to remove the paper. Let's get the scraps out of there. Here's the ring. Isn't that cool? Cut and embossed in one pass. Let's set that aside. Now we want the details for the bark. So we got that same ring that we're working with right here. We're going to pop the die, the second die, right to the inside. Now there's little characters, little notches on each side, and you're going to look for those on the embossing folder. Line it up and just shift until that die falls in and catches each of those little characters. We're going to add our paper on top just like we did for the ring that we want. Close up. Got the folder fold in first. Add number 4. Crank. And now we'll open up the folder, and inside we'll find there's the bark ring to match. Isn't that just the coolest little layer? So much fun. I am in love with hybrid folders now. I never really understood the magic of it until this tree rings folder. It just makes an incredibly detailed piece for any paper craft project. We'll adhere the bark to the tree ring. You can use a little multi-purpose liquid glue here. And again, you're going to line up those characters, those little bumps and divots. And then I like to pick it up and just pinch the edges until everything kind of lines up, and turn it over and burnish from the sentiment banner and the wood slice to our treat. I'm going to tie a little bit of this elegant trim cord around my banner first, add just a little bit of sparkle. So I'll wrap, tie a big loopy bow so that it peeks out from behind the poinsettia. A really generous bow here. Big loops, big tails. We want to put the poinsettia over it and still see all of that gorgeous silver sparkle. You can hold the center knot, do a little adjust, trim the tails away from the spool. I went ahead with my wood slice and adhered with liquid glue, because with the emboss, the dimension is really, it's kind of bulky. It's 2 layers of cardstock and all that great embossed detail. So I'm going to do that one flat. Then I'm going to add my banner with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to pop a couple right along the back here. Really support that greeting. And then I'm going to roll the end of the banner up just a little bit. We've got our awesome cutouts here. Let's put a Stampin' Dimensional on the center of the back of the poinsettia. We want to leave a lot of free space here because we're going to tuck these silver branches in just a minute. So let's get that, and don't cover your greeting. And then from the edges, we're going to add a little piece of dimensional. I'm going to lift this up a bit and just tuck it right behind my poinsettia. Lift the edge, peel the release, and then we can slide in this little branch that we've made with the shaded spruce and poppy parade, and then tuck it right in that half a dimensional. Whew, looking so good. Let's grab Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. This silver specialty foil is a new item for Celebration. So it's been in the catalog for a while now. It's now available as a free choice during Celebration. I just thought I'd show you this. So you've got one that looks like a stainless steel. It's a real silver, but it's got a gentle brush. Then there's this dark one. It's kind of a purpley black, and the brush pattern is even more noticeable on this one. So much shine. Then, interestingly enough, there's a completely matte piece. It's almost got a soft kind of lavender finish. So this is the silver foil specialty pack. It's a really nice option if you've got all the things from Celebration that you want, because you can get this foil. It's going to have a ton of great uses, and it's probably different, unless you have this exact silver specialty, it's probably different from other silver foils that you might have in your collection. So it'll add a new and unique twist to the specialty and foil metallic papers that you use. I used a little branch here. This is from the tree rings dies, and I'm going to cut it twice. There's a lot of different bits to choose from in that die set, so if you wanted to do 2 different branches, you could go ahead and do that, but I wanted them to be the same for balance. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one. Look at the texture that is embossed in on that die cut, the veins of the leaf, the bark on the branch, Such a cool die. I'm going to do another one. So I have 2 of the same. Now for the other one, it's going to come out from under the poinsettia, so we didn't need it quite as long, but I did want it the same scale, the same size of leaf, the same thickness of branch. I wanted it to point in the same direction. So I'm going to do a second one of the same, but it doesn't have to be quite as long because we're tucking it behind the flower. So I'll just go right off the edge, and there is our branch. And the one we're working on, I'm going to put my branches on with some mini glue dots. Got a couple of dots there, and my take your pick tool. I'm going to roll this little mini dot in half, and then I'm going to kind of audition where I want my leaf to peek out from my poinsettia. Don't want to cover my greening. When I got it where I want it, I can just come in with my glue dot on the end of the take your pick tool and get that adhered down to the tag. We'll do the same thing for the other branch. Just kind of flick the glue dot, make it half the size. Dry fit, where do you want the branch? When you got it the way you like it, lift it up, and then just slide the glue dot right underneath and pop it right on. That's so gorgeous. Now, got the silver foil from those free silver specialty papers. The silver trim from the Elegant Trim Pack. Now, if you haven't seen these red and green adhesive back pearls, they're not just red and green. Red and green, of course, it's cherry cobbler and then soft succulent, but there's also silver and gold. This silver, oh, I wish Stampin' Up! Would give us a whole package of these silver blings. They look kind of like nonpareils. They're just the perfect true silver, true metallic. They're not iridescent, they're not pearl, they're not matte. They're a shiny, beautiful silver embellishment. We'll put 3 of those in the center of our poinsettia. There it is. Our Ringed with Nature 5-piece Dove chocolate treat box. If you guys have any questions about the project, email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net and click shop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.